Devastating moment for Prince Harry's reputation and credibility, as he argues with a judge while in the dock, contradicts himself, appears to fib about using the pseudonym Mr. Mischief.
Can't ignore them if they keep popping up doing stuff like this. That's the thing. We're kind of in a mutually abusive, toxic relationship, aren't we? The media and Harry and Meghan, because they keep doing stuff wanting attention. Then they get quite adverse reaction most of the time. Then they react really badly to the reaction. And so it goes on.
Well, what it really boils down to is the threat they offer. If their threat was punctured, which I hope my book will do.
Bad news in Harry and Meghan world, their show has been canceled. Season 3 of With Love, Meghan has been canceled by Netflix.
Royal biographer Tom Bower has just dropped a revelation that reportedly left Meghan Markle furious. At the same time, Prince Harry was spotted in a London courtroom looking tense, emotional, and clearly frustrated with the judge. The pressure around the couple seems to be building fast, and the situation is getting more dramatic by the day. Meanwhile, the reaction from Hollywood has not exactly been the warm welcome Meghan may have expected. Now another twist has entered the story. Netflix has quietly stepped back from Meghan's long-anticipated cooking series, and that decision has people asking serious questions. Fans were curious about the project for months, but now many are wondering what really happened behind the scenes. According to Tom Bower, the issue was not simply ratings or mixed reviews. He claims the real story runs much deeper, and the explanation paints a far more intense picture of how the project reportedly unraveled. Bower, who gained huge attention for his best-selling biography Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, did not hold back during a recent interview. He laid out his view of why Meghan's Netflix project collapsed, speaking in very direct terms. After spending years studying royal controversies and Hollywood's reaction to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, his comments are drawing attention because when he speaks about royal drama, many people listen.
Well, absolutely, but don't even believe that there were 5 options. What you really saw were Harry's and Meghan's fantasy narrative, which they call the truth.
April 2025, she said it's the happiest she's ever been. She's having a wonderful time. She can't believe it, and she's happy and grateful. Now, what sort of idiot would say that in court when he talks to the person herself has given something completely different?
What Meghan never really understood, probably not even now, is that when she was chaired as a working royal, it wasn't because she was Meghan Markle, it was because she represented British royalty and all the values of the Queen and all the tradition and 1,000 years of history. So people were cheering not just the person, but also the institution.
According to Tom Bower, Meghan's show did not struggle just because of numbers or bad timing. He believes the real problem was the concept itself. In his view, the idea behind the series simply did not match the public image Meghan has been trying to build. Netflix reportedly hoped the show would highlight charm, warmth, and a sense of real authenticity that viewers could connect with easily. Instead, the final version was said to feel overly polished and strangely distant. Some insiders even claimed the tone felt more staged than natural, which made it harder for audiences to connect with the experience. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere was reportedly tense as well. Creative disagreements were said to happen more often, and those clashes slowly became impossible for the production team to ignore. At the same time, Meghan was preparing to expand her personal brand deeper into the entertainment world. This project was supposed to be a major moment for her career. Many people saw it as a comeback opportunity after the public's mixed reactions to some of her earlier ventures. The plan was simple: refresh her image and open the door to bigger Hollywood opportunities. But that plan appears to have taken a serious hit. Instead of pushing the project forward, Netflix reportedly stepped back quietly, which instantly triggered speculation about what this means for Meghan's future partnerships. Bower's comments only added more attention to the situation, suggesting that the show's collapse might signal a bigger shift in how Hollywood views the Sussex brand. He also pointed to what he described as growing hesitation among major studios when it comes to new collaborations. With the constant headlines and surrounding controversies, some executives may be thinking twice before committing to large projects. In Bower's opinion, while Meghan hoped to craft a picture-perfect Hollywood comeback, parts of the industry may now be looking past the glossy image. For Netflix to quietly move away from a project that once generated so much buzz is a serious setback. And Bower made his stance very clear during the interview. In his view, this situation is not just about one show failing. It could represent something much bigger for Meghan's long-term ambitions. Things appear to be shifting quickly, and the questions surrounding her Hollywood future are only getting louder. And as more details from Bower continue to surface, the story behind this project becomes even more surprising.
He lost at the trial court level on this push to make the British royal family pay for his security when he goes to the UK.
Once they realised that myself, my wife, and our kids are happier outside of the institution, please just look at the fact, look at the risks, look at the threat, look at the impact that if anything was to happen to me, my wife, or my father's grandchildren, look where the responsibility lies.
What a manipulation. My father's grandchildren. They're gonna and it will be his fault.
It's gaslighting on a grand scale.
Prince Harry, his heart seems to have softened, or there's been some sort of evolution. So I do think you're right that a lot of us were kind of caught off guard by the Prince Andrew decision, because we had grown accustomed to cuddly Charles, Grandpa Charles, with the grandkids in his lap. And when I saw the news, I thought, I don't know if I'll ever see anything like this again in my lifetime, but maybe I will because of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
It's almost like Harry 2.0 is Brooklyn Beckham. Have you seen any of this action?
Yes, I'm into it.
I'm so
very
into it because doesn't talk to his father, fall out with the father.
Before we get deeper into the explosive details Tom Bower revealed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you do not miss any of the latest royal and Hollywood drama. There is a lot more coming, and the next part of this story only gets more intense. Tom Bower did not hold back when he made one of his boldest claims during the discussion. He said, and this is a direct quote, "It turns out she's not any kind of talent." That is a sharp statement, especially coming from someone with his reputation and long history covering royal controversies. Comments like that instantly grabbed attention across media circles. What makes the remark even more striking is that Bower insists his opinion is based on years of research, not just a quick headline. He has spent a long time studying Meghan Markle's career, public image, and professional relationships. According to reports surrounding his research, he spoke with more than 80 individuals who had worked with her, interacted with her in the industry, or knew her in professional settings. Because of that deep investigation, Bower is not seen as just another commentator throwing out random opinions. He built his reputation by digging into details, collecting sources, and carefully documenting claims. That investigative style is exactly why his statements often create such strong reactions. According to what he uncovered, Netflix executives may have started questioning the partnership surprisingly early. Bower suggested that within about 6 months of signing the huge deal with Prince Harry and Meghan, reportedly worth around $100 million, some concerns had already begun to surface. Insiders allegedly told Bower that Netflix started sensing problems sooner than expected. The couple had promised engaging, meaningful content designed to attract global audiences. The vision sounded exciting at first, but the reality reportedly did not unfold the way executives hoped. Bower claims the streaming platform realized Meghan might struggle to deliver the type of programming that keeps viewers hooked. The buzz surrounding her creative ideas sounded impressive in theory, yet the finished projects did not always match that level of excitement. Her cooking and lifestyle series with Love Meghan was supposed to be a major turning point. The show was meant to reintroduce her to audiences, placing her back in the spotlight while highlighting personality, charm, and a new creative direction. But instead of becoming a triumphant comeback, the project quickly turned into one of the most talked about disappointments surrounding the Sussex media deal.
I was doing an interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. And that was my number one intention, was just clarity on why did you leave? And so some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me. And those surprises are now referred to as bombs.
He holds on to these terrible unhappy moments with Meghan, who he says, she's absolute misery, but, that's not true either. And she wasn't around in the late 1990s. I mean, it's a sort of extraordinary way of behaving.
And even the publishers couldn't quite believe some of the things which I discovered. And one of the big things at that time was sensitivity reading. There was a great fear that she would play the race card. He wanted half in, half out. He wanted his own cake and eat it. And the royal family said, no, you're either in the royal family or not in the royal family.
The series was supposed to be Meghan's big opportunity to become a major name in lifestyle television. The idea was simple: step into a space once dominated by household icons like Martha Stewart and Ina Garten and build a brand around cooking, hosting, and elegant living. It looked like the perfect path for a fresh media identity. But according to Tom Bower, there was one huge flaw in that entire plan: authenticity. Bower argued that Meghan's on-screen presence did not feel genuine to many viewers, and in today's media world, audiences are incredibly sharp. People quickly sense when someone is being natural and when something feels carefully performed. According to him, that disconnect is exactly where the project reportedly started to fall apart. He explained that the issue was not only about production choices or the structure of the show. In his view, the challenge went much deeper than that. Bauer suggested the real problem came from the overall approach behind the series and the image it was trying to create. The goal seemed to be a full reinvention. Meghan was presenting herself as a relaxed, down-to-earth personality who enjoys cooking, entertaining guests, and connecting with people in a warm and personal way. But Bauer claims many viewers did not fully believe that version of the story. He described the image as something that appeared carefully crafted rather than something that developed naturally over time. The message behind With Love Meghan was meant to focus on comfort, simplicity, and personal connection. Yet critics reportedly felt the show came across as overly polished, heavily structured, and not emotionally engaging enough to truly capture viewers. That is when Netflix reportedly began stepping back more quietly. According to Bauer's account, executives realized their massive investment might not deliver the cultural impact they originally expected. Meghan had been positioned as the central face of an entire lifestyle brand. But if Bauer's interpretation is correct, the cracks in that strategy started appearing much earlier than anyone anticipated. The whole situation shows just how quickly things can shift in Hollywood when public image and audience perception stop lining up. Bauer's comments may sound tough, but based on what he has shared, he believes the warning signs had been building for quite some time.
Your show's been canceled. You're not going to be the next Martha Stewart, Meghan. I mean, the fact that Meghan Markle had a cooking show and she moved pretzels from one bag into another was crazy.
The more Meghan must have been convinced of her importance to the monarchy. Do you still think she's that delusional? And maybe the answer is watching her at Kevin Costner's 805 Live event in $300,000 worth of jewelry, including Diana's Cartier watch.
Wherever she is, whether it's at Costner or in Colombia or in Nigeria or wherever, she's always, her publicist will reveal that she's wearing one of Diana's pieces of jewelry.
In Meghan's case, it seems to me she's absolutely determined to force feed the narrative, and damn it, they're going to accept it and keep going, and people are just too smart.
Tom Bauer did not limit his criticism to ratings, contracts, or streaming numbers. Instead, he pushed the conversation into something far more personal, and that is where the story became even more uncomfortable. During his discussion, Bauer pointed to a situation involving Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, that he believes raised serious questions about public image versus private reality. At the time Meghan was reportedly busy filming her lifestyle series, Bauer noted that her father had been dealing with major health challenges. Reports about his condition had already circulated in the media, which made the situation widely known. According to Bauer's comments, Meghan did not visit or reconnect with him during that period, and that detail surprised many observers who were already following the story. Bauer used that example to raise a larger question about branding and authenticity. Meghan's public projects often highlight themes like family, compassion, and emotional connection. Because of that, critics began asking a difficult question: how does that message align with the complicated relationship she has with her father? It is a sensitive topic, but Bauer argued that audiences notice these contrasts very quickly. In his view, the difference between Meghan's public messaging and the personal stories circulating in the media created a gap that viewers could not ignore. During the interview, he spoke very directly about this issue. According to Bauer, when a public figure promotes values like closeness and warmth, people naturally expect those values to appear in real life as well. When the two images feel out of sync, audiences begin questioning the story behind the brand. He went as far as calling the situation a serious contradiction, suggesting that building a powerful public persona becomes extremely difficult when critics believe the messaging and personal narrative do not match. And as the discussion around the show continued, that tension only seemed to grow louder. The numbers surrounding the show quickly became one of the most talked about parts of the story. Tom Bauer highlighted statistics that he said were surprisingly low for such a high-profile project. According to his comments, With Love Meghan reportedly ranked around 1,217 on Netflix's overall content list for the second half of 2025. In a platform filled with thousands of titles, that kind of position meant the series struggled to gain real visibility. Despite the celebrity attention, media buzz, and promotional efforts tied to the project, the show reportedly made only a small impact with viewers. Bauer used this comparison to emphasize his point. He mentioned that some independent YouTube creators, working without major studio support or large budgets, sometimes attract more attention in a single month than the series reportedly achieved during its early run. According to the figures he referenced, the show gathered roughly 2 million views over about 4 months. At first glance, that might sound like a respectable number, but when measured against the scale of Netflix's global platform, it becomes far less impressive. Streaming success is usually measured in massive viewing totals and billions of watch hours. For a project connected to well-known public figures and backed by a major deal, expectations were extremely high. That is why Bauer described the result as a serious wake-up call. Meghan had been expected to attract worldwide audiences and energize lifestyle fans everywhere. Instead, the viewing numbers suggested the show struggled to break through the crowded streaming landscape.
Harry's evidence came forward a day. So Harry originally wasn't meant to be giving evidence until tomorrow. Now, I think it scrambled him a bit. He seemed uneasy from the moment he arrived. He didn't really settle properly in the witness box, and he came in, and Anthony White very cleverly immediately got him onto this thing of being part of the institution thing, and right from the off, Harry was on the defensive and very bristly and very abrasive. And the judge intervened 3 times to try and calm him down. I mean, the first time, which was the one that you showed there, he was actually quite sympathetic and he was quite like, look.
Tom Bauer stressed that Netflix executives could not simply ignore the data once the numbers started coming in. In the streaming world, audience response is everything. And according to Bauer, the statistics quickly showed that the show was not connecting with viewers the way the company had hoped. He argued that the issue came down to something simple but powerful: credibility with the audience. Today's viewers want authenticity, honesty, and a sense of real vulnerability from public figures. But Bauer claimed many people felt that With Love, Meghan looked too glossy and overly produced to feel genuine. Instead of appearing natural, critics said the series felt like another attempt to reshape Meghan's public image. According to Bauer, that approach did not resonate with audiences the way Netflix expected. People watching at home are quick to sense when something feels overly staged, and once that doubt appears, it becomes difficult to win viewers back. Bauer summed up his argument in very direct terms. As he put it, the numbers don't lie. For someone who once had massive global attention, the drop in engagement stood out dramatically. What was meant to be Meghan's bright comeback moment in lifestyle television suddenly looked like one of her most disappointing professional outcomes. The timing also added more tension to the story. Reports of ongoing family disagreements were already circulating in the media, which meant the public conversation around her personal life was growing louder at the same time. According to Bauer, that combination made this moment one of the most revealing chapters of Meghan's post-royal career. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, the contrast is striking. Meghan Markle once captured worldwide attention after marrying into the British royal family and later secured a massive Netflix partnership reportedly worth around $100 million. Because of that, expectations were enormous. Yet the project that was supposed to be a warm, feel-good cooking and lifestyle show struggled to generate the kind of momentum many expected. For Bauer and other commentators, that gap between expectation and outcome is what makes the situation so surprising. The struggles reportedly began early for the main series, and when the holiday special finally arrived, the momentum still did not improve. Instead of creating excitement, the festive episodes seemed to repeat the same problem. According to reports mentioned by Tom Bauer, the holiday edition of With Love, Meghan gathered roughly 2.4 million views, placing it somewhere close to 1,500th in Netflix's rankings. For a celebrity with worldwide recognition, those numbers raised serious eyebrows. Results like that can be tough for any major streaming platform to overlook. Large productions come with big expectations, and executives typically hope for strong audience engagement when a project carries so much publicity. With the level of promotion and attention surrounding Meghan's show, the outcome reportedly surprised many inside the industry. Bauer explained that Netflix did not immediately abandon the partnership. In fact, according to his account, the company tried to remain patient and hopeful. Executives were reportedly waiting for the moment when Meghan's content might finally catch fire with viewers. The hope was that something dramatic or emotionally powerful would eventually capture the public's attention. Maybe a deeply personal story, a major interview, or a project that revealed something meaningful about royal history. According to Bauer, Netflix believed the partnership with Harry and Meghan had the potential to produce major cultural moments. Some insiders even speculated that projects connected to royal history, such as exploring Princess Diana's legacy or deeply personal storytelling from Harry and Meghan themselves, might create global headlines. That kind of emotional, high-impact content was the type of programming executives reportedly dreamed about. But Bauer claims the reality ended up looking very different from that vision. Instead of powerful documentaries or dramatic storytelling, viewers mainly saw quiet lifestyle segments. Episodes focused on simple activities like arranging flowers, preparing table decorations, or packaging snacks in decorative ways. The intention may have been to create a cozy, welcoming atmosphere, but critics argued the result felt too controlled and uneventful. According to Bauer's assessment, the show lacked the spark that keeps audiences hooked. Without strong humor, emotional depth, or compelling storytelling, many viewers simply moved on to other content, and in today's crowded streaming world, losing that attention even for a moment can make a huge difference.
This is my job. I understand that this is a big moment for you, but you're making a mistake that a lot of people make. Let me just tell you, your job now is just to answer these questions. Let your legal team answer the case. And Harry seemed to kind of go, okay, my lord, yeah, whatever. Then he carried on, then he did it again, and then he did it a third time, and it was really bad the third time. So
the series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from.
The authenticity is really what the issue is, and there's, they just hired a whole new PR firm.
According to Tom Bauer, this was the moment when Netflix executives reportedly began facing a difficult realization. The expectations surrounding Meghan's star power had been extremely high, but the results were not matching the vision the platform originally imagined. Bauer claimed the company may have overestimated how strongly her carefully crafted public image would translate into engaging television. Behind the scenes, some people involved in the production were reportedly surprised by how the filming process felt. Instead of energetic or spontaneous moments, the atmosphere sometimes seemed controlled and overly structured. According to Bauer, insiders felt Meghan's on-screen presence came across as very precise and carefully managed. Netflix had apparently hoped for a lively host who would naturally draw viewers in and make them feel relaxed and welcomed. The idea was to create a warm personality that audiences could connect with instantly. But Bauer said some people involved in the project felt the result looked different. He quoted comments from insiders describing the performance in blunt terms. "She's not spontaneous, she's not funny, she's not warm." Those remarks reflected the feeling that every movement, expression, and line delivered on camera seemed extremely rehearsed. That level of control, Bauer suggested, removed the natural energy that lifestyle shows usually rely on. Instead of feeling casual and inviting, the series sometimes appeared overly staged. For viewers who expect authenticity and personality, that difference can be noticeable right away. In Bauer's view, the production highlighted how carefully Meghan's public persona had been managed over the years. But when that same precision carried over into the show, it reportedly drained much of the excitement from the final product. For a streaming platform like Netflix, one that often thrives on big personalities, humor, and unscripted charm, this became an important lesson. According to Bauer, strong branding alone cannot carry a series if audiences do not feel a genuine emotional connection. He also noted that Netflix had given Meghan significant resources to succeed. The project reportedly included experienced producers, a major production budget, and a high level of creative control. The company appeared willing to give her full freedom to shape the show and build something memorable. Yet even with those advantages, the series still struggled to capture the strong audience attention that executives had originally hoped for. In the end, the biggest issue became impossible for Netflix to overlook. People simply were not watching. No matter how much promotion surrounded the series, the audience numbers stayed far lower than expected. And that is where Tom Bauer's analysis takes an even more interesting turn. According to him, the challenge was not only creative decisions or production style. He argued that the deeper issue was personal connection with viewers. Bauer suggested there was a noticeable gap between the image Meghan wanted to present to the public and how some people perceived her behind the scenes. That difference, he claimed, made it harder for audiences to fully believe in the message the show was trying to deliver. He explained that successful lifestyle personalities usually share one powerful trait above everything else: authenticity. Whether they are talking about cooking, home design, or personal wellness, the hosts who truly resonate with audiences often feel natural, relatable, and sincere on camera. According to Bauer, when that sense of authenticity feels missing, even a well-funded production can struggle to capture viewers' attention.
Doing anymore, which I'm not shocked because nobody was watching it, okay? That show is like number 5,206 on the Netflix chart.
A documentary on his mother would be, by him, surrounded by all of these yes people.
It would be totally inaccurate. I mean, from his own book where he says for a long time he thought his mother had just disappeared. I now believe she'd be murdered by the paparazzi, which is ridiculous.
Harry is behaving disgracefully. Not only is he utterly disloyal to his father and his brother, but also his mother's memory.
That sense of authenticity is often what makes audiences connect with lifestyle personalities in the first place. people like Martha Stewart, who built her brand step by step over many years, or Gwyneth Paltrow, who is often debated in the media but still shows a clear and recognizable personality, have managed to keep viewers interested because they appear genuine. They allow the audience to see both the polished moments and the imperfect ones. But according to Tom Bower, Meghan has struggled to find that balance. In his view, she has been presenting what he describes as a carefully constructed version of herself. He suggested it sometimes feels like a character designed to appeal to everyone at once, yet not fully reflecting a clear or natural identity. And audiences in 2026 are quick to notice when something feels overly performed. Viewers today tend to respond to honesty, humor, and vulnerability. When a show looks too scripted or overly perfect, it can create distance between the host and the audience. Bower believes that Meghan's attempt to appear effortlessly relatable may have had the opposite effect. During his interview, Bower also spoke about what he claimed were challenges behind the scenes of the production. According to accounts he said came from people involved with the project, the filming environment could sometimes become tense. Some individuals reportedly described the process as demanding, with frequent adjustments to details during production. There were also claims about repeated script revisions and close attention to technical elements like lighting, staging, and camera angles. While many productions involve careful planning, Bower argued that constant changes can sometimes create pressure for the team working on the set. His overall point was simple but direct. Even with a large budget, professional crews, and strong marketing, a project still relies on positive collaboration and natural energy to truly succeed. Without that spark, even the most ambitious television projects can struggle to connect with audiences. Netflix reportedly hoped the show would feel warm, inviting, and easy for viewers to connect with. The goal was simple: create something comforting and relatable that audiences could enjoy watching at home. But according to Tom Bower, the final result ended up feeling far more distant and tightly controlled than expected. That is where his commentary becomes especially sharp. Bower argued that Meghan's biggest challenge is not the media, critics, or even the entertainment industry itself. In his view, the real obstacle is her struggle to show a more natural side of herself to the public. Today's audiences often connect with personalities who are open, imperfect, and genuine. When someone appears too polished or overly controlled, it can sometimes make the connection with viewers feel weaker. Bower suggested that trying to maintain a flawless public image may have unintentionally created that distance. Netflix executives had reportedly hoped the series would become Meghan's opportunity to refresh her reputation and reconnect with audiences. Instead, Bower believes the show ended up highlighting the very concerns he had been raising for years. As he explained it, viewers are rarely searching for perfection. What they usually want is honesty, personality, and moments that feel real. According to Bower, that sense of authenticity was the one element the series struggled to deliver, even though Meghan reportedly had significant creative freedom during production. He also shared several behind-the-scenes claims about how filming unfolded. In his account, some scenes were reportedly reshot multiple times, not because of cooking errors or dialogue issues, but because Meghan was unhappy with how certain shots appeared on camera. Bower said that small details like lighting, camera angles, and makeup were given intense attention during filming. In his telling, appearance sometimes became a major focus during production, which reportedly slowed the process and created frustration for some members of the team. One particular story Bower mentioned stood out during his interview, and it added another dramatic layer to the conversation surrounding the show's production.
Which they've created, and they're going to earn a fortune out of it. And don't forget, there's Harry's book still to come next month. And then at some stage, there'll be Meghan's book. I mean, they're making a career out of this stuff.
I can't even be around it as a consumer. I can't imagine how Harry handles this as a full-time partner.
Discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013, and she wanted wealth and she wanted fame, and she targeted. There's no doubt she targeted.
One story Tom Bower shared during the interview quickly caught people's attention. He claimed that Meghan was extremely focused on how her hair appeared during filming, reportedly wanting it to look flawless in every single shot. According to Bower, this became especially noticeable during cooking scenes. As he pointed out, most professional chefs and home cooks usually tie their hair back while preparing food. It is a simple and practical habit in the kitchen, but he suggested Meghan was more concerned with maintaining a polished magazine-style appearance while on camera. Bower argued that this focus on presentation may have taken away from the relaxed, natural feeling the show was trying to create. Instead of leaning into the casual charm of cooking and sharing everyday moments, the scenes sometimes appeared too carefully arranged. The result, he said, looked highly polished and staged rather than spontaneous. For viewers hoping to see a warm and relatable lifestyle show, that difference may have made the experience feel less authentic. Bower believes this lack of natural energy was one of the main reasons the series struggled to resonate with audiences. In his view, there was little spontaneity or playful interaction, elements that often make lifestyle programs feel inviting and fun to watch. He also pointed out another detail that surprised some viewers. According to Bauer, the beautiful house shown throughout with Love Meghan was not actually Meghan's personal home. He claimed the production used a rented property that had been styled to look like a private residence for filming. And that was not the only carefully arranged element, he said. Bauer suggested that several lifestyle details shown in the series, such as beekeeping scenes and cozy gatherings, were also part of the production setup. Even the beehives that became a talking point among fans were reportedly arranged as part of the filming environment. According to Bauer, all of these elements contributed to the impression that the show was designed to look perfect on screen, even if the environment itself had been carefully staged. Tom Bauer also pointed to the interactions between Meghan and several celebrity guests featured on the show. According to his observations, some of those moments appeared polite but somewhat stiff during filming. Instead of relaxed conversations or natural laughter, the exchanges sometimes felt more like professional appearances than genuine hangouts between friends. For viewers watching at home, that lack of easy chemistry could be noticeable. Bauer argued that lifestyle shows often succeed when guests and hosts share spontaneous moments together, little jokes, small mistakes, and real reactions that make the experience feel alive. Without that spark, the scenes can start to feel carefully arranged rather than naturally unfolding. This, Bauer claimed, was a major reason the series struggled to gain momentum. In his view, the project focused heavily on visual perfection but did not always deliver the emotional warmth audiences were hoping for. Modern viewers often enjoy seeing real moments, laughter, surprises, and even small imperfections that make a show feel human. Then came what Bauer described as one of the biggest turning points. According to his account, Meghan was reportedly extremely upset when Netflix decided to step away from the project. After investing so much time and energy into the series, seeing it quietly disappear from the platform was said to be a difficult moment. For someone who had been at the center of global attention for years, that kind of rejection would naturally feel disappointing. Bauer suggested that Meghan had genuinely believed the show would become a major success in the lifestyle entertainment space. In fact, he claimed she expected With Love Meghan to reshape her public image and elevate her status in Hollywood. The project was reportedly seen as a chance to build a new identity, one focused on creativity, elegance, and modern lifestyle influence. But according to Bauer, the reaction from viewers did not match those expectations. Many critics described the series as slow-paced and overly polished. Without strong humor, storytelling, or emotional connection, some audiences reportedly found it difficult to stay engaged. In Bauer's assessment, the difference between the ambitious vision for the show and the audience response became impossible to ignore, and in today's fast-moving entertainment world, that gap can quickly determine whether a project becomes a cultural hit or quietly fades away.
He helps Harry be looking ridiculous. I mean, one of the ludicrous things that he said was that Meghan was absolute misery. I think it's absolutely shocking, isn't it? I mean, he's trying to have an argument with the lawyer who's supporting the Mail. Now, that's ridiculous because he's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to answer a question. I don't know that he would hang on with Meghan because, as we know, he's not in the top 1,000 that for Netflix.
In the end, the hype surrounding the show simply did not match the final product. Viewers who were curious at first quickly moved on, and the excitement around the project faded much faster than many people expected. But while the Netflix situation was unfolding in California, another dramatic moment was taking place across the Atlantic. Prince Harry was in London dealing with a very public courtroom battle connected to his legal case involving the Daily Mail. And according to Tom Bauer, the situation reflected a pattern he believes has followed the couple for years: the gap between how they hope to be perceived and how their actions are interpreted by others. Harry's lawsuit centered on allegations of phone hacking that were said to have taken place between 2001 and 2013, long before he even met Meghan. The case was intended to highlight concerns about press intrusion and privacy. On paper, it was a serious legal matter with major implications for media accountability. However, reports from inside the courtroom suggested the atmosphere became unexpectedly tense during parts of the proceedings. According to Bauer, several journalists and observers present were surprised by how emotional the exchange became while Harry was giving testimony. He claimed that Harry appeared to challenge the judge multiple times during questioning. The back and forth reportedly created a tense moment inside the courtroom, with the judge stepping in to guide the discussion and keep the hearing focused. At one point, the judge addressed Harry directly, reportedly saying, "You're doing what lots of litigants do. You tend to argue back. You don't have to bear the burden of arguing the case today." The comment immediately stood out to people following the trial. For many observers, the moment felt unusual. Seeing a member of the royal family in such a direct courtroom exchange with a senior judge is not something the public witnesses very often. The atmosphere in the room was described as serious and slightly uncomfortable. Tom Bower pointed to this incident as another example supporting his broader argument about the couple. In his view, both Meghan and Harry sometimes underestimate how their actions appear from the outside. According to his interpretation, Meghan misread what audiences wanted from her Netflix project, while Harry may have underestimated the strict formality and expectations of courtroom proceedings. To Bower, both moments highlight the same underlying challenge: navigating public perception in a world where every move is closely watched. Tom Bower pointed out what he sees as a striking irony in these situations. In his view, both events seem to follow the same pattern: strong confidence mixed with a lack of awareness about how things might be perceived publicly. For Meghan, the audience reportedly drifted away from her Netflix project. For Harry, the courtroom moment became tense and uncomfortable. According to Bower, those two episodes together highlight the concerns he has been raising for years. He argued that the image of Harry and Meghan as a polished, media-savvy power couple has faced increasing pressure when tested in real-world situations. In Bower's interpretation, these moments are not isolated incidents but part of a larger trend that stretches from Hollywood to London. When their actions play out in public settings, the reaction can sometimes be very different from what they expected. Bower also described a particularly emotional moment during the courtroom proceedings. According to accounts he referenced, Prince Harry appeared visibly upset while giving testimony. Witnesses reportedly noticed his voice becoming strained as he said, "They have made my wife's life an absolute misery." The comment immediately drew attention in the courtroom. What made the moment stand out even more, Bower explained, was the context of the case itself. The lawsuit was focused on alleged media misconduct from the early 2000s, years before Harry had even met Meghan. Because of that timeline, some observers were surprised when her name entered the discussion during the testimony. That detail left several commentators questioning why the topic came up during the hearing. For Bower, it reflected what he believes has become a recurring pattern in the prince's public responses. In his analysis, Harry often brings the conversation back to the impact on Meghan, even when the issue being discussed originates from events long before their relationship began.
It's unlikely that there will be a third series of With Love Meghan on Netflix, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yes, definitely. That's what they've said. 2 series failed and there's not going to be another one.
The way she's artificially building herself up with like the humble brags that she constantly does. She's so incredibly needy.
Because in the end, one of Meghan's many deficiencies is she has nothing to say. There's no originality. There's no profundity.
Tom Bower went on to explain what he believes is a recurring pattern in Prince Harry's public responses. According to him, Harry often appears to connect many of his personal experiences back to Meghan's role in his life. In Bower's analysis, even situations that focus primarily on Harry sometimes circle back to how events have affected his wife. He described this as an emotional reflex. In his view, Harry frequently frames major issues through Meghan's perspective, even when the topic itself is not directly related to her. Bower argued that this tendency has become a noticeable part of the way Harry speaks about challenges involving the press, public criticism, or personal struggles. What made the courtroom moment even more striking, Bower noted, was that Meghan was not present at the hearing in London. She did not attend the proceedings or travel to the UK during that stage of the case. Instead, she remained in California while the legal battle unfolded. Reports at the time suggested she continued with her regular schedule in the United States, while Harry handled the courtroom testimony on his own. That contrast, Bower said, drew attention from observers following the case. While Harry stood before the judge dealing with intense legal questioning, Meghan was thousands of miles away. For some members of the public watching the story unfold, that absence raised questions about why she was not there during what appeared to be an emotional moment for him. According to Bower, this situation reflects a broader dynamic he has discussed in his previous work about the couple. He believes Meghan has a strong influence on Harry's thinking and emotional responses in public situations. Bower even suggested that Harry sometimes evaluates his reactions based on how Meghan might view the situation. In his interpretation, that influence has become a defining element of the prince's decision-making style in recent years. Whether people agree with Bower's analysis or not, his comments have once again fueled debate about the relationship between Harry and Meghan and how it shapes their public roles. Tom Bower suggested that this courtroom moment became a powerful example of the dynamic he believes exists between Harry and Meghan. Here was a prince standing before a judge in a legal case that focused on events long before he met his wife. Yet during one of the most emotional moments of his testimony, the conversation centered heavily on Meghan. For Bower, that scene captured a pattern he has often talked about. He believes Harry's personal identity in public life has increasingly become tied to defending and protecting Meghan, sometimes even when the situation does not directly involve her. The image itself was striking. Harry appearing emotional in a London courtroom while Meghan remained across the ocean in California, continuing her regular schedule. According to Bauer, that contrast stood out to many observers following the story. He argued that the moment did more than show tension inside the courtroom. In his view, it revealed how deeply Meghan's influence shapes Harry's public reactions and decisions. Bauer also spoke about how the public responded to the scene. During the testimony, Harry reportedly became emotional while describing the impact of media coverage on his wife's life. The statement immediately grabbed attention from journalists and commentators who were watching the case unfold. At the same time, reports suggested Meghan was still in California, sharing bright photos from her sunny home environment and continuing her normal routine. For critics, that contrast created a powerful visual moment that spread quickly across media discussions. Bauer described the scene vividly. Harry standing before a judge speaking about the pressures of media intrusion while his wife remained far away from the tense legal setting. To many observers, the difference between those two images became a major talking point. He also pointed to what he believes is a deeper irony in the situation. Harry was strongly arguing that the media had commercialized and invaded his private life. Yet Bauer reminded audiences that Harry himself had previously chosen to reveal many personal details in his memoir, Spare. The book, which runs more than 400 pages, includes numerous stories about Harry's life inside the royal family. In it, he discusses personal memories, difficult experiences, and family conflicts that had rarely been shared publicly before. Bauer noted that the memoir includes descriptions of private conversations, royal tensions, and emotional moments from Harry's past. When the book was released, those revelations sparked worldwide headlines and intense discussion. Because of that, Bauer argued the situation now raises complicated questions. On one hand, Harry is criticizing the media for exposing personal aspects of his life. On the other hand, he has also chosen to share deeply personal stories himself through his own writing. For Bauer, that contradiction highlights the complex relationship Harry has with publicity, privacy, and public storytelling. And in his view, the courtroom moment brought that tension into the spotlight once again for the world to see.
I think Prince Harry keeps finding these reasons to go to London to go to court because he secretly misses being in London.
They bought 12 episodes and you sliced it. Everybody
Craft
knows
services
that.
did not come back. The trucks did not drive up the driveway again and relight the whole place. The internet is undefeated. You cannot fool it. You will never get away with it.
Tom Bauer's criticism remained sharp and direct as he discussed the situation. In his view, there is a contradiction in how Harry and Meghan approach the idea of privacy. As Bauer put it, you can't sell your story to Netflix, Oprah, and the publishing world for millions of dollars and then turn around and accuse the press of exploiting your private life. His argument was straightforward. Once public figures choose to share their personal stories through major interviews, documentaries, or books, the line between public and private life inevitably becomes less clear. According to Bauer, inviting cameras into your world and turning personal experiences into large media projects makes it difficult to later redefine those boundaries whenever it becomes inconvenient. Bauer also pointed to the reaction he says followed across social media and in major news discussions. In his description, the response from many commentators was extremely critical. People began highlighting what they saw as inconsistencies in the couple's public messaging. On one side, Harry and Meghan often speak about wanting privacy and protection from intense media scrutiny. On the other, they have released several high-profile projects that share personal stories about their lives, relationships, and experiences inside the royal family. According to Bauer, this contrast has left some viewers feeling frustrated. Many observers believe the couple has already told their story through documentaries, interviews, and books, which has made repeated discussions about privacy harder for some audiences to understand. In Bauer's interpretation, this moment may represent a shift in public perception. He believes that the sympathy many people once felt for Harry and Meghan has gradually been replaced by skepticism from certain critics. He argues that audiences are starting to notice what they view as contradictions, calls for privacy combined with major media appearances, or messages about authenticity alongside carefully produced public projects. Whether people agree with Bauer's perspective or not, his comments have added another layer to the ongoing debate about the couple's public image. According to Tom Bauer, the end result of all these controversies is what he calls a growing credibility problem. The couple who once captured worldwide fascination now faces increasing skepticism from critics and commentators. Bauer argues that the charm that once made Harry and Meghan global icons appears to be fading as more people begin questioning the consistency of their public messaging. As he summed it up in his analysis, you can't have it both ways. And judging by the reactions spreading across the internet, many voices online seem to share that sentiment. The response to Prince Harry's emotional courtroom testimony and the cancellation of Meghan Markle's Netflix series has been intense. Comment sections across social media platforms and news sites quickly filled with strong opinions. According to Bauer, this wave of criticism was exactly what he expected to happen as public patience began to wear thin. One viral comment that gained more than 1,400 likes captured the mood for many viewers. If Harry wanted privacy, he wouldn't have released Spare. Another widely shared comment read, "Court is for facts, not feelings," receiving hundreds of likes as the debate continued to spread online. For many critics, the message being expressed is straightforward. They believe Harry and Meghan frequently speak about the pressures they face while also living a life of extreme visibility and privilege. That contrast has become a major talking point among people following the story. Some online commenters have accused the couple of sending mixed signals. On one hand, they call for privacy and distance from the media. On the other, they have released documentaries, interviews, and books that openly discuss private experiences within the royal family. Critics also point out that in Spare, Harry revealed personal details involving several members of the royal family, including Prince William, Catherine, King Charles, and even stories about past relationships. Because of those disclosures, some observers now question the prince's arguments about protecting personal privacy. When it comes to Meghan's Netflix series with Love Meghan, the reaction online has also been highly critical. Entertainment posts discussing the show quickly turned into heated debates about whether the series felt relatable to everyday viewers. One commenter wrote bluntly, "She's made our lives a misery listening to her behavior and hypocrisy." Another added, "Finally Netflix found its spine." Comments like these gained traction online and reflected the frustration some viewers expressed. Bauer says this shift in tone is something he has predicted for years. In his view, public sympathy for Harry and Meghan was always tied to how people perceive their struggles. But he believes that sympathy can fade when audiences begin noticing contradictions between personal narratives and public lifestyles. According to Bauer, audiences can only connect with a certain storyline for so long before questioning whether it still reflects reality. And as this debate continues across media platforms, the conversation about Harry and Meghan's public image shows no sign of slowing down.
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim, when there's nothing to be a victim about, and there's also no sympathy to be granted for this lifestyle that she's chosen to live.
Harry that got into a slanging match with him. At one point, Judge Nicklin had to step in and say, "I'm so sorry, Duke, but it's the job of your counsel to defend you and to get into arguments with the opposing side, not yourself."
I bet you guys, they put so much money into the show and then no one tuned in to watch it, that it was just not a good return on investment.
Tom Bauer has long argued that public opinion toward Harry and Meghan could eventually shift, especially if audiences began feeling that the couple's message was repeating the same grievances without offering something new. According to him, that prediction may now be starting to play out. Online discussions show that some commenters say they feel exhausted by the steady stream of interviews, books, documentaries, and public statements. Many of those critics argue that the conversation often focuses on past conflicts rather than new achievements or future plans. Because of that, the tone of the public debate appears to be changing. What was once intense global curiosity about Harry and Meghan's next chapter has, for some audiences, turned into fatigue. Bauer believes this shift has made the couple seem more disconnected from everyday life in the eyes of certain viewers. In his latest commentary, Bauer delivered a blunt conclusion. He argues that the current backlash may signal the beginning of what he calls a major public reset in how the couple is perceived. According to his view, the strong sympathy that once surrounded Harry and Meghan is gradually being replaced by skepticism and frustration from critics. The early excitement that followed their departure from royal duties may be fading as the public conversation becomes more divided. Bauer believes the reaction now visible across social media is evidence that the honeymoon phase with the public may be ending. In his words, the combination of Meghan's Netflix project struggling and Harry's tense courtroom moment highlights a turning point. Whether that shift becomes permanent or temporary remains to be seen. But for now, Bauer's latest analysis suggests the intense global fascination with Harry and Meghan may be entering a very different chapter. Tom Bauer believes the biggest shift happening right now is not outrage or criticism, it is something quieter but far more damaging for public figures. In his words, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. According to him, that is where the situation may be heading. The intense attention that once surrounded Harry and Meghan, constant headlines, heated debates, and endless media coverage appears to be cooling down. Bauer argues that the story that once fascinated millions is gradually losing its spark. In his view, the Sussex narrative once felt bold and dramatic, almost like a royal rebellion that captured worldwide curiosity. But over time, he believes the storyline has begun to feel repetitive for some audiences. When public attention shifts from strong reactions to simple disinterest, Bauer says it can be even worse than negative press. He also offered predictions about what could happen next with the couple's media partnerships. One of his biggest claims involves their relationship with Netflix. According to Bauer, the streaming company may slowly step away from the partnership over time. The deal between Netflix and the Sussexes was originally announced as a major production agreement that could bring documentaries, films, and lifestyle content to the platform. But Bauer believes the relationship may now be quietly cooling. He described the potential strategy as a kind of slow ghosting. In this scenario, a company does not make a dramatic announcement, but gradually reduces new approvals, limits promotion, and allows contracts to expire naturally without major renewals. Bauer argues that Netflix initially saw enormous potential in working with Harry and Meghan. Their global recognition, royal background, and personal stories seemed like the perfect ingredients for compelling content. However, in his analysis, the results did not fully meet those early expectations. Some projects reportedly required significant budgets and long development times while struggling to capture strong audience engagement. Whether Bauer's prediction proves accurate remains uncertain, but his latest comments suggest he believes the media partnerships that once defined the Sussex brand may soon be entering a very different phase.
Harry is vengeful, bitter, angry. There's so much rage in there.
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention. And then let me write a book about how much we don't want it.
After the disappointing performance of With Love, Meghan, Tom Bauer claims Netflix may have started quietly reconsidering its investment in the Sussex partnership. According to his interpretation, the lack of major follow-up projects gaining traction has raised questions about the future of the deal. But Bauer believes the challenges may go beyond streaming partnerships. His second major prediction focuses on finances, and he describes the situation as potentially worrying for the couple. In his analysis, Harry and Meghan have spent large amounts of money on projects that either stalled during development or failed to generate strong results. Some reports cited by commentators suggest that as much as $38 million may have gone toward projects that did not move forward successfully. When that figure is combined with the costs of maintaining their large California home, private security, and an extremely high-profile lifestyle, Bauer argues the financial pressure could begin to grow. He also pointed out that several of the couple's biggest media deals are either nearing their end or being scaled back. If fewer new projects are approved in the future, the steady income stream that once came from those partnerships may slow down significantly. According to Bauer, that pressure may help explain why Meghan reportedly reconnected with the well-known public relations firm Sunshine Sachs. Industry observers interpreted the move as an effort to rebuild her public image and reignite media interest in her brand. Bauer believes Meghan has been attempting to reposition herself as a powerful Hollywood figure and lifestyle influencer. However, he argues that those efforts have not yet created the same excitement that once surrounded the Sussex name. In his view, the sense of mystery and curiosity that initially fascinated global audiences has faded over time. Instead of dominating headlines with anticipation, the couple now faces a much harder challenge, keeping the public interested. Bauer says that public indifference is the most dangerous situation for any celebrity brand. When people stop watching, clicking, and talking about a public figure, controlling the narrative becomes far more difficult. He also suggested that Meghan has been trying to reconnect with influential figures in Los Angeles as part of an effort to rebuild her Hollywood network. According to Bauer's claims, she has reportedly attempted to establish connections with major entertainment personalities, including figures linked to actress Jennifer Aniston. Whether those efforts will lead to new opportunities remains unclear, but in Bauer's analysis, they signal how important it has become for Meghan to restore momentum in an industry where attention can disappear quickly. Tom Bauer described Meghan's recent networking efforts in Hollywood as a bold move, but he believes the motivation behind them is highly strategic. In his view, she may be trying to align herself with well-established entertainment figures in hopes that some of their credibility and star power will strengthen her own image. However, Bauer argues that the entertainment industry is very sensitive to authenticity. When relationships or collaborations appear calculated rather than natural, he says they rarely succeed in the long run. In Hollywood, reputation and trust often matter just as much as talent or publicity. Another topic Bauer discussed was Meghan's newer lifestyle branding efforts, which have already sparked conversations online. One example that gained attention was a product featuring a bookmark printed with the phrase "fell asleep here." The item was intended to be a light, relatable lifestyle touch, but on social media it quickly became the subject of jokes and commentary. Bauer called the move unusual and suggested it highlights what he believes is a growing disconnect between Meghan's branding ideas and public expectations. Instead of generating excitement or admiration, he claims some viewers are simply confused about the direction of the brand. In Bauer's words, it sometimes looks as if multiple ideas are being tested at once in hopes that one of them will capture attention. He described the strategy as trying many different approaches and waiting to see which one resonates with the public. So far, according to his analysis, the Hollywood comeback Meghan hoped for has not fully taken shape. Each project that struggles to gain traction, he argues, risks reinforcing the perception that her brand direction is uncertain. But Meghan is not the only one Bauer believes could face setbacks. His third prediction focuses on Prince Harry and the legal case unfolding in London, which he claims could end with a difficult outcome for the prince if the court rules against him.
She got so wrapped up in telling the news that she just blurted it out. She blurted it out live on air. And you can see the other guy's going like, what? What? Come on.
So Meghan Markle, her cooking show has been canceled. No one needs to see her making arts and crafts anymore. I think they need to go away.
Tom Bauer believes Prince Harry's legal case faces a major challenge because, in his view, the evidence may not be strong enough to support the claims being made. According to Bauer's analysis, the prince's arguments have relied heavily on personal experiences and emotional impact rather than the kind of detailed documentation courts usually require. In a courtroom, Bauer explained, success often depends on clear timelines, records, and verifiable facts. Judges typically look for precise evidence that supports each claim step by step. Emotional statements can highlight the seriousness of an issue, but they usually are not enough on their own to win a legal battle. Reports from the proceedings suggested that parts of Harry's testimony focused strongly on his personal frustration with media behavior over the years. While those feelings may resonate with the public, Bauer argues that judges are primarily concerned with concrete proof rather than broader grievances. He also pointed to Harry's conduct during the hearings as another factor drawing attention. According to Bauer, moments where the prince appeared frustrated or interrupted the flow of questioning stood out to observers following the case. In high-stakes legal settings, maintaining composure and following courtroom procedure is extremely important. Bauer suggested that emotional reactions or visible frustration can sometimes create the wrong impression, especially when a case is already under intense public scrutiny. Because of these factors, Bauer predicts the court may ultimately rule against Harry. If that happens, he believes it would become another difficult moment for the couple's public image. Taken together, Bauer says the situation paints a challenging picture. Meghan is still trying to establish a lasting position in Hollywood, while Harry faces a complicated legal fight in London. In his view, both stories highlight how difficult their attempts at reinvention have become. There could also be serious financial consequences if the ruling does not go in Harry's favor. According to reports referenced by commentators, losing the case could mean covering the Daily Mail's legal costs as well as his own. Legal expenses in cases like this can become extremely high, sometimes reaching into tens of millions of pounds. If that scenario were to happen, Bauer argues it could place additional financial pressure on the couple at a time when some of their major media deals are already uncertain. Tom Bauer says the current situation is something he has been predicting for years. In his view, Harry and Meghan stepped away from the royal family believing they could build an independent life, earning their own money, creating their own media empire, and enjoying the freedom they said they wanted. But Bauer argues that they may have underestimated how difficult that transition would actually be. According to him, the royal institution had provided far more protection and support than many people realized. Inside the monarchy, he says, there was structure, guidance, and a powerful global platform that helped shape their public image. The royal system also handled much of the behind-the-scenes work that kept members of the family shielded from constant reputational and financial risks. Once Harry and Meghan stepped away from that environment, Bauer believes they entered a completely different world. Instead of operating within the royal structure, they became public figures competing in the unpredictable entertainment industry. Hollywood, he explains, can be extremely demanding. Fame shifts quickly, audiences change their interests, and success often depends on delivering projects that consistently capture attention. Bauer argues that the couple may have believed their royal status would automatically translate into lasting influence in media and entertainment. In his opinion, they expected their global recognition to guarantee that new ventures would succeed. However, building a long-term brand outside an established institution is far more complicated. Bauer says audiences today look for authenticity, consistency, and meaningful content when deciding which public figures to support. He claims that maintaining those qualities over time is what separates lasting celebrity brands from short-lived ones. Without a stable system supporting them, every new project Harry and Meghan pursue must succeed on its own. That is why recent challenges have had such a strong impact, according to Bauer. The struggles surrounding their Netflix projects, the criticism tied to Harry's memoir, and the ongoing legal battle have all created pressure at the same time. Unlike the royal institution, which traditionally absorbs many controversies internally, the entertainment industry offers very little protection when projects fail. Each setback becomes public and personal almost immediately. And if Harry ultimately loses his court case, Bauer believes the consequences could be especially serious. Legal costs on that scale, combined with the expenses of maintaining a high-profile lifestyle in California, could place significant strain on their long-term plans. In Bauer's analysis, that possibility raises a bigger question about the future of the Sussex brand and whether the California dream they envisioned can truly survive the challenges they are now facing. If the legal costs really do climb that high, they could quickly drain what remains of the couple's fortune. And that reality looks very different from the independent and successful life Harry and Meghan imagined when they stepped away from royal duties. Tom Bauer's overall message is blunt and impossible to ignore. In his view, freedom without a clear strategy does not lead to empowerment, it leads to chaos. Right now, he believes the couple may be discovering just how difficult life outside the royal system can really be. The next chapter could be critical for their future. Will Harry and Meghan manage to repair their public image and rebuild trust with audiences? Or will this moment become the turning point that permanently damages their brand? One thing is certain, people around the world will be watching closely to see what happens next. If you've been following this dramatic story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who want the full breakdown of what's happening. And do not forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with Tom Bauer's predictions, or do you think Harry and Meghan can still turn things around? Let's talk about it.